Hello and welcome to another video from Ethereal Gaming. Today I'm going to be back in my trusty Skorpion, and for those that have watched me on the live streams, you'll know that the Skorpion is my go-to tank when it comes to earning credits. I think it's a fantastic tank, though I have recently acquired an SU-130 PM, so it'll be fun to take that one out too. Today I want to look at some gameplay which looks at the importance of draw distance, the rings on the minimap, and also a bit about utilising Skorpion, even though it has paper armour, keeping it in a supporting position to the front line, and then using those hit points where needed. So you can see in terms of the crew that's on the vehicle, we have a pretty reasonably skilled crew for me. We have a full brothers in arms, we have 3 crew members with the camo skill, all with the repair skill, 6th sense, with some other skills in training. I'm using my static build until I have the view range skills up at least, which includes the gun rammer, a camo net and binoculars, so bear that in mind. It's quite a static build, and we're using basic consumables, so that should give you a flavour of what we're actually using in the gameplay we're about to go into. So without further ado, we've talked about the Skorpion before. I'm not going to go too much into the details and statistics on the tank. Let's look at some gameplay. So here we are on Highway, and you can see we have a very favourable match, something that most dream about. We have 3 tier 8s, a few tier 7s and mainly tier 6s, though there is a couple of artillery which can always make it difficult for the Skorpion. And also something to remember is the Skorpion still does have very weak armour, so even those lower tiers are going to have no trouble penetrating the armour. So it's quite a large map in terms of the draw distances, and one thing to look at in particular is on the mini-map bottom right hand corner there is the yellow ring on the map. Now that is as far as you can see. Even if enemy tanks are spotted, if they're outside that yellow ring, you cannot see them. And the importance then on having that on the mini-map is it makes it very clear what parts of the battlefield you can actually see, and also that should influence the position you should take. So here we go, we get to see the VK coming across. This is a normal position on this map for a TD, supporting the mediums. Now, a little bit concerned there's nobody in the town, but we'll see how the battle develops. At the moment, I'm looking to maximise the spotting I'm getting from the Super Chaffee to see if the enemy team does come and challenge our mediums in the corner. And at the moment, it doesn't look like they are moving to support, to challenge our mediums, and our Super Chaffee has now been killed. So that is a problem in that we don't have that scout spotting anymore, and the enemy aren't coming towards us, so that means we have to relocate. So what we're doing now is we're moving, one, to see if we can get a flanking shot on the VK, but also because the enemy are outside the draw distance. And I see so many tank destroyers sitting in what I think is a great location. Yes, it's got good camo, trees, bushes surrounding you, but it's no good if you can't actually see the enemy. So what we're doing now is we're moving forward to try and get that yellow ring over as much of the map as we can to support. Now we fire a blind shot after that FE disappeared, and fortunately he went forward instead of continuing the direction. So we're going to continue looking to get a shot on the FE. After that first one, he is moving backwards and forwards. I didn't want to take another blind shot, so now I'm going to wait for the opportune moment. We now see some of our tanks have gone to the city, so I'm at least getting some spotting down there, and I'm less worried about getting flanked. And at the moment, that enables me to focus on waiting for the best moment to strike on this FV. Now, that was a good chance to shoot. He was very stationary, but when you zoom in at 16 times, it's often good because it does show how inaccurate your gun really is, even when a long range in a zoomed out often looks a bit more accurate. So the shell sails just over the top of his turret. So we're going to continue trying to support our Super Hellcat and our medium Super Hellcat going in there to challenge that FV, and unfortunately the FV has gone down below, but he pops up to chase the Super Hellcat, and we're able to finish him off in quick succession. Now, again, the draw distance. I cannot see, and there's still loads of enemy tanks in the game, 11 enemy tanks in the game, and I still can't see hardly any of them. So we must move. Doesn't matter, we're in a Skorpion, we have light armor, we must move to be able to see. And I've been spotted, and you can see there an M38 is starting to make some attacks on me, as is the SU-100Y. Now I'm expecting those guys to be up on the hill. So what I'm doing is I'm actually driving in a direction which I think will take me outside their draw distance, because I don't know how far their spotting is, and so I wanted to make sure that even if I'm still spotted by somebody like the Barask, I still can't be seen by the shooters because I'm outside their draw distance. So that's why having that yellow ring is very, very important. The other rings are important as well, because that gives you an idea of your own view range and you being spotted, but the yellow one is the most important, because no matter what happens you can't see. And what we've done is we've moved back into a location where you can start to see the enemy and get some flanking shots on them. So that's what we're doing here. We're in a good location now. We've got a number of enemy players spotted, and we're going to maximise that location to shoot without being spotted in return. So we get a good couple of shots on that SU-100Y there, and the M38. We're going to fire another shot looking for the SU-100 initially, but he was killed, so we moved on to the M4A38 and we finish him off in quick succession. The Skorpion's gun, absolutely devastating for these lower tiers, and as you can see we finish off the KV2 as well. So when you're doing 400 to 500 damage on a tier 6, that is incredibly devastating, and you can see that there. So again, we know that the enemy are they've played very defensively in this match. They're very much holed up in the corners, and we're now going to move forward, and again using that yellow ring on my mini map to make sure that I've moved forward enough to see the next line of the enemy defence. So we're looking to see if we can get a shot on that Skorpion right now. Fortunately, he's up there in the buildings, and we can't get a clear shot on him. My static build means I have to stop every so often to get the binoculars out, but at the moment it looks like, given where we are, we still need to push forward. And there's a temptation to rush in at this moment, but it's still quite close. It's 5 to 6, and we've just lost 2 tanks, but they've also lost a tank, so it's now down. They have 4, we have 5. Still a relatively close game, but I think we do have the advantage here, and the artillery is killed, and we still have our artillery support. So at this point, draw distance is irrelevant. We need to spot the enemy and finish them off. Now there's still a Skorpion out there somewhere who is now destroyed by a T-26. So there's now 2 tanks left. Well, there's no point here to be passive and to stop. We're looking to get a shot on the T-100, and we're seeing if we can see the Challenger. Now at this point, what I'm thinking the Challenger, he hasn't been spotted. He's probably on the hill in the corner here, and I'm looking at my hit points going, I've got 646 hit points. I can take at least 1 shot from that Challenger. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rush up on the Challenger and take a hit from him, and I'm going to use those hit points. I'm going to trade those hit points to get a kill back, and I'm lucky. The T-34 hits my gun, but we're able to repair it. We take the hit from the Challenger and finish him off in 1 shot. And now we're looking for that T-34-100. So it's about knowing when to be aggressive, using those hit points. I see many players finishing the game on full hit points, and that often would suggest you've probably been a little bit too passive, and you've got hit points to use to get onto the enemy and destroy them. And there we go. So I think that was, while a very favourable battle for a Skorpion, I think it illustrates very well the use of draw distance and that yellow ring on the mini-map, and how that can help you, as well as knowing when to rush forward, even in a paper tank destroyer, trade those hit points, and we finish with the 2 kills. And we ended up there with 3,200 damage, 360 assistance, and 5 kills. Let's go back to that. There we have it, our trusty Skorpion, as always, doing a great job. But hopefully some of you out there will have found that useful to understand more about the importance of the rings on the minimap and how to use them. It's one thing just checking a box so that they appear on the minimap, but it's about using them to inform the location that you need to be to have the most influence on the battle, and then also about thinking about the best moment when you can use your hit points to benefit your team the most. So as always, thank you very much for your support on YouTube, Twitch and Facebook gaming, live streams on Mondays, Thursdays and Sundays, and please, if you like the content, like, subscribe, follow, is greatly appreciated in helping this channel to grow further. This is not about here elite gaming, this is about showing you World of Tanks with pretty average crews, basic equipment, but understanding some of the things that will hopefully take players and improve their gameplay, even if just a little bit, and in the same time make the game a little bit more fun because you understand how it works better, or just to see some gameplay from an average player using average consumables, equipment and crews. So you've been watching Athariel Gaming, and I'll see you on the battlefield.